Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the new Prologue EV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
Saw the dark man among the living. He was in our den, and it was we'd been watching some ball game, and I said to him, "Have you seen this documentary?" He's big Motown soul music doo-wop guy. Loved doo-wop. In fact, when we had his memorial service, we got a doo-wop group in there to sing the songs for the dark man. But I said, "Have you seen this documentary, Standing in the Shadows of Motown?" It's about the Funk Brothers, the backup band. Fantastic. And Joan Osborne sang What Becomes of the Broken Hearted. And I remember Dark saying before he left, he said, "Hey, play it back to Joan Osborne singing that song again." And we that was back to DBR days. We backed it up and saying that. And then
he loved it.
And then 3 days later, the great man was gone. And it was on this day, June 1, 6 years ago now. 6 years ago. I'll still once in a while be watching a sporting event where last night would have been call up the dark man and say, "What the bleep did you think of that?"
Because he was a big Warriors guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I love the Warriors. Yeah. And before it became trendy,
before they were good, right?
Because it was late, he'd watch it late at night. They'd be on late at night, and he had the NBA package, and they were scoring a lot of points, even though Curry wasn't even there yet. But he was a Warriors guy, that's for sure. And today, he 6 years ago today.
I can't believe it was 6 years ago.
Happened a little quick, but it would be interesting. He'd be all over Justify to win the Belmont too. I always liked that chalk, man. He'd give you that big. Every time he give you a big tip in the horse, it was 3-1 max. So it was. I've told you the story when so he calls in, and Joe and I. And tells us that Bud Grant's going to resign for the second time. We've told this story 100 times, and nobody had ever reported that. Nobody had even hinted at it. And it came true. So then a couple of weeks later, it comes true. Three weeks later, and Suits writes a column about Sid's era is over. There's a new sports dopester in town, a guy named Dark Star, the mysterious Dark Star. Pretty soon he's showing up on CCO and other shows, but now the newspapers are going pretty well nuts with the racetrack being open.
Right.
And the name, he says, Dark Star, comes from that horse that was an upset winner of a Kentucky Derby, Dark Star. And he said he used that name as a handicapper at the Herald Examiner in Los Angeles. Well, pre-internet days. And if he wanted to make that claim, who cared, right?
You didn't really have to check it out. Yeah,
we never checked on it.
Right.
We never checked on it. And now the main handicapper that the St. Paul paper had hired, Big Danny from Chicago, got in a little trouble.
Okay.
So Big Danny from Chicago was being removed from the main handicapping duty at the Pioneer Press, and we had 3 people in a selection box in addition to the main handicap.
I remember that.
And Phil Marutis,
Yep.
who was a better handicapper than Donnie, a great handicapper, local horseman, moved over to the main handicap. So we needed somebody to fill out the box, the selection box on short notice. This was like Tuesday, and there were races Wednesday. Maybe it was Monday night. I don't know what it was. But Roy Hewitt was the sports editor, and he was sitting there smoking his cigarettes and saying, "Racey, you know anybody?" I said, "Well, we got this guy that says he used to be a handicapper at the L.A. Herald Examiner, but I can't vouch for him. But, he's at the track. I see him at the track. Dark Star's his name." He said, "Oh, that's a good name for a handicap." So I call him up, right? I said, "Hey, you want to be in our selection box?" "Hell yes." Well, he calls in his horses on Tuesday night about 6 o'clock. I go out there to hold his hand the next day because he's my guy.
Right.
He goes 0 for 9. Doesn't have a winner. Doesn't have a winner. I said, "You've never been to the track in your life, you lying SOB." Well, then he started going over to the winners, the bar over there at Canterbury.
Yeah.
And talking to trainers and talking to people and getting a few tips. And he'd be calling in at 8 o'clock at night and say, "Hey, change that such and such to such and such." And he started doing much better. But if
protecting his craft.
If he got a really good tip, didn't show up in the selection box.
That one was for self.
That one was for self-aggrandizement, yes. But anyway, that's kind of where it all started. And
No, you know what you did? When you presented him as the potential handicapper for the paper, you rolled the dice.
Yes, we
Let's
did.
do it.
Let's see what
rolled the
happens.
dice, and it all worked out fine. Although I won't have to repeat my favorite dark story, but one of my favorites is he's doing the Dark Star show on KANO in Anoka.
Okay.
That's his radio start.
That's where it
Northern
started.
Metro
KANO,
juggernaut.
in the basement of this Legion Club or something, Dilly Sports Bar they called it, but it's in the basement, and it's got a bunch of red plastic chairs and tables, and he keeps saying, "Come on." I said, "Well, God, I'm on another station, Dark." He said, "Nah, come on up. Nobody will know. Come on up." I said, "Okay." I told him, "Here, I'm going to be a guest on the Dark Star show at KANO." I get there. He's not there. He's got Billy Ward from the Star Tribune there because CCO called to have him fill in. So I was competing on the Dark Star show against Dark Star.
Oh, my God. The stuff he got himself into.
He would routinely do that, wouldn't he?
Then he pretty much, he started calling Steve Cannon with the race results from Canterbury, even though nobody asked him to, and that kind of got it to be his in at CCO.
No, I guess what I was going to say was he'd say, "Hey, why don't you come on my show?" And then you'd show up, and he'd take off.
No, the great one on that is when he was working 9 to 1. They were making him work 9 to 1, and Eric Nelson, the affable Eric Nelson, just to be a nice guy, would go to Twins games and get a little sound from the clubhouse and bring it over.
Sure.
So Dark could play it. And one night Dark gets there at about 11:30, and he gets there at about 11:30 and plays some sound, and Dark has him sit down, and they BS for a half hour, and about 5 minutes to 12, Dark says, "Hey, Eric, can you stick around another hour?" And Eric said, Yeah, I can. Dark throws him a 50 and walks out. Leaves him there.
He had things to do.
Leaves him there to do the show. He was always up to something, that's for sure. And I miss him a lot. He was a character, to say the least. And Howard Sinker from the Star Tribune website kind of wrote something today and said something about blah, 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 a Minnesota character in heaven, question mark. I said, if he's there, I'm in good shape.
Right. I'm doing just fine.
I'm in good shape. I ain't worried about changing my ways. I'll tell you that. I'm not worried about changing my ways if he made it. And
we'll let Johnny take us out here.
A real character, to say the least. George Chappell was his name, and he was about a 50-year-old bachelor, and his mother was still worried about him. We'll be back. Well, we left yesterday's show with a mystery, gentlemen. The movie that we used to watch on Mel Jazz's matinee.
And you were describing it, and I was thinking, that old man is crazy.
Yeah, well, a guy named, I think it was Brian on Twitter, gave me the name, and he's right. The Monolith Monsters, 1957. And it tells the story of a large meteorite that crashes in a Southern California desert and explodes into hundreds of black fragments, which have strange properties. When those fragments are exposed to water, they grow very large and tall.
Wow, water is life.
The fragments also begin to slowly petrify some of the inhabitants of a nearby small town.
Wow.
The story unfolds, becomes one of human survival against an encroaching unnatural disaster that, if not stopped, could become a national ecological nightmare that could pose a possible threat to all of humanity.
We've got to stop these buildings.
It's 77 minutes. Here, let's listen to the.
Here's the trailer.
What? Trailer?
It starts with the big Batman-like words, like meteor born, meteor strange. Now these amazing monolith monsters become alive, shocking beyond belief. Old pickup truck.
Black and white.
Hey, you gotta believe me. You're gonna think I'm blind.
Rocks, Joe? Towers of rock crashing down and then growing up again?
Yeah.
Now they're standing on top of the Monolith Monsters mountain.
Yeah.
Perhaps a part of the process is the absorption of silica, taking it right out of whatever it comes into contact with, like
Human beings?
The most startling science fiction concept ever brought to the screen.
Just like Ben, their bodies are turned to stone.
What was this amazing power that could turn people into stone? That could suddenly turn inanimate rocks, stones, monoliths into growing, spreading, expanding monsters, threatening to engulf whole towns
Tell
and
the whole
cities,
story.
to bury all civilization under an immensity
Kenny,
of weight beyond all
describe for me
calculation.
the police car that's in here.
Barney Fife.
Yes, Barney Fife. Black with the white doors.
Galaxy.
You know what they did, though? You can wind it down. You know what they did, though? What everybody always did to wipe something out in that era, explode the dam and send the water down, crashing down.
The dam.
So even though the water caused them to grow, it also destroyed them. But here,
you're not crazy.
One of my favorite things about the trailer is. The trailer is, and they told the scientist to say process instead of process.
Oh, Patrick.
To make him sound more dignant, make him sound smarter.
They were flat out acting there, man. I mean, that is some acting for you.
You know who the babe was in there?
Don't tell me Raquel Welch.
Lola Albright. She was a babe.
Yeah, she
Lola
was.
Albright. She was fairly famous. This must have been in her young. Because parts of her already looked like they had turned to stone. She was dressed. So
I wonder what kind of dirty stuff they had on her that they she said, I'll do that. Yeah, you just keep your mouth shut about this other thing.
But the Mel Jazz matinee, I believe, ran from 1 to 3 on Channel 11.
On Saturdays?
No, every day.
Oh, at night?
No, it was Channel 11 was the independent station.
Every day?
Every day, 1 to 3.
Oh.
But the movie only went 77 minutes, which meant Mel babbled for, and they had a lot of ads. But Mel Mel was the guy who would then take a call or two and tell some.
Were you scared?
Some woman would call and say, and what's your husband do for a living? Well, he shovels cow poop. Oh, he's got a good job, Mel would say. And Mel was it was pretty fantastic. But those were the kind of movies they ran, and I was glad. The mystery has now been solved. The Monolith Monsters, rocks going across the prairie to destroy a desert town. It's
just
pretty
awful.
Pretty damn good.
Awful.
But they had two screenwriters.
That's what I was going to ask you about this.
It had to take them 4 hours, didn't it?
I was thinking that I wonder if they were part of the government CIA LSD testing program, because who could possibly dream that up?
Universal International's horror series, they called it, and they cranked out 3 a week, end of the world type
They
things.
go to lunch, have 3 martinis, come back and crank this garbage out.
How about big rocks that grow when water strikes
How do they get
them?
life? Water. And throw some water on.
How do we destroy them? Water. Wait a minute. Aren't they going to make them bigger? No, if it's going fast enough, it'll kill them. Don't worry about it.
Now we're going to need a love interest. Somebody bucks them.
Yes.
And somebody cheap.
Yes. Well, in fact, the first setup on it says, here's this short one. A geologist, Grant Williams, and a school teacher, Lola Albright, evacuate a desert town attacked by thirsty giant crystals. Man, it was great. Did our dark guy go? Somebody wanted to tell a dark story.
No, Michael, he's still here.
Michael.
Hey, Pat.
Yes.
I believe that was 6 years ago today that Dark was reported gone, and the next morning, you and Joe on Saturday Morning Sports Talk were reminiscing, and it was hilarious. A quick story. Joe was with Dark at some, I don't know if a baseball game or whatever. You might have been there too. All of a sudden, this dweeb comes walking up behind Joe and Dark.
Rookie right there. He was with him.
Dark Star, how you doing? And Joe is thinking, how are we going to get rid of this character? And Dark turns around and says, hey, how you doing? I'll see you at the fair.
Yes, you were there.
I
you
witnessed
were the
that.
witness, right?
I witnessed that. He was a really nice guy.
We have stolen that a few times.
At the fair. Like, you're the kind that'll be right up front and center.
Patrick, virtually everybody on the air in the Twin Cities has stolen that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Everybody uses that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's so awesome.
One last one. He and I are with a group from Interlochen playing at Sandhill, right? And crazy Bobby Carlson, he's got the planes that gets it out this, but he's a great prankster. A good friend of ours, we were ordering dinner in there, and he hooked up a fart machine behind the guy so that on the curtain, so that when he ordered, all of a sudden the young waitress is taking the order. And anyway, Darky and I walk into our room, and there's a rat.
What?
Going, hey, in a trap and blood coming out. And I'm up against the wall like this. And Dark says, Carlson, don't worry. And it was an electronic thing, but I couldn't. You couldn't tell. You just flip on the light. As soon as the light goes on, he probably spent $200 for it. And I'm going.
Pat jumps into Dark arms.
And Dark says, Carlson, don't worry about it.
Right. Again, these are grown men. These aren't teenagers.
No, Carlson. All right. 6 years ago today. We miss him, the great Dark Star.
And Sports Talk will be back. Right now, we've got Bruce Vail with the Your Money Now report coming to us courtesy of Owatonna's own Federated Insurance. Bruce, good news or bad news?
Well, the news is pretty good to end the week. We had gains across the board today thanks to a strong May employment report that helped push stocks higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 219 points, closing at 24,635. Not enough to get the Dow back into positive territory for the year, but we're getting closer. The NASDAQ Composite rose 112 points, and the S&P 500 gained 28. Fiat Chrysler said it will fund new investments in electric and self-driving cars by bringing vehicle financing in-house and boosting global sales of SUVs and pickups. The company also plans to be among the first automakers to offer fully autonomous vehicles to the premium retail market. Today is National Donut Day, and there are plenty of places where you can get a free one. The list includes Krispy Kreme and Walmart, and Duck Donuts, where you can get a free sinker just for asking. At Dunkin' Donuts and Cumberland Farm stores, you can get a free donut with the purchase of a beverage. At Papa John's, you can get a free order of donut holes when you buy a pizza online. I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
If I eat one more thing, I'll explode. No more donuts. Hello? Wow. Was he on tape?
No, he's on tape. Bruce, were you on tape?
No,
Okay.
next hour.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You just don't get the reference, and you're stunned by my brilliance.
Did they send any donuts to you?
No, they did not.
Okay. Literally.
And I did not get the reference, but I wasn't really stunned.
Got it.
Monty Python, that's all it is. Credit Karma sponsors this.
Oh, so current.
Yeah. Credit Karma sponsors this somewhat abbreviated traffic report. 94 between the downtowns, eastbound 17, westbound 13. If you're a part of the outbound bounce.
Much as I appreciate dealers, GMCs, and Chevys from Jim Paul's Valley Group, Such and I need the Pope to drive one of those self-driving to go around in one of those self-driving Fiats that they're going to develop here or maybe we'll get our money back.
You need a little boost.
Yeah, we do. We need the Pope to come back to the U.S. and drive again around in one of those again. Such led me down the garden path on another great investment. You know,
this one's good. This one's going to go fast.
You two are like the honeymooners. It's unbelievable. Barney and Fred.
So what would be a worse investment for you guys? Your dual investment into the Fiat or Such's solo investment into the industry?
That one, we'll see.
What was Such's money-making scheme? Yeah, a good deeds channel.
Good deeds channel on YouTube.
Yeah, he missed that one.
Jeez, that's so lame.
Plus, it's already done.
Plus, we were selecting from 9.
There's enough sincere do-gooders out there, not just a phony like Such.
Yeah, you don't need some guy coming in charging a cover charge. Step right up. Hey, Royce, did you see the photo that Francis tweeted of Rookie earlier today?
I see you've noticed that on Twitter, Kenny.
Did you see that?
No,
Patrick?
what?
Dum Dum showed up for the show today in a ponytail.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I saw it up in person.
He approved.
Unbelievable.
Pat loved it. He tried to help me get a little tighter.
How come you didn't smack the face right off his head?
I think he's beyond hope. That's why.
Joe couldn't concentrate. He started the show and what is that?
What is that?
What you should have done is have the ponytail and a cap turned around the other direction, or like
Fernando,
little askew.
Yeah.
Now, how far away are you from turning that into some sort of ridiculous man bun that comes off the 2 o'clock position of the back of your head?
We're pretty darn close. It can come pretty darn close.
Matthew,
You could get a haircut.
I will seriously break some bones.
It should be okay.
This is going to hurt, my friend.
And
Samurai Night Fever.
Oh, here's Johnny.
You do look like a sumo wrestler.
Oh, that's me.
The old Belushi character.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's partly sunny and 80 degrees. Twins Indians again from Target Field tonight. Jose Barrios for the Twins. Carlos Carrasco goes for Cleveland. Gophers baseball team opens up.
You know what, Joe? Our Twinks are not very good.
It's true.
Joe's gone.
Joe's not going to reply to that.
Johnny, they're brutal.
Yeah,
They figure out a way to lose. Man.
Well, I think what they should do is not allow the other team to start the game with 8 runs.
Yeah, that does. It makes it
That
hard.
might help.
Yeah.
The Gophers baseball team opens
This
up.
morning, Harrigan and I were so bored during sports updates that I was doing impersonations of Reavers managing the
team. I'm going to go back and listen.
Management's out of town. Who cares what the hell we get on the air? I'm just acting like an outraged Reavers all morning.
The Gophers baseball team opens up NCAA tournament action tonight at Siebert Field, where they're playing the regional. They'll meet Canisius at 7 o'clock this evening.
Do you know what I want to? I want to throw a tribute here to Tony Lee. Mm-hmm. To win a national production award for this station is fantastic, don't you think?
Did he win
it's
it
one
for?
of the great upset stories of all time.
You weren't standing out there when I gave my congratulations to him, did you? No. I said, "Get away from me, you weasel."
Was that win a production award here is a monumental achievement.
Well, wasn't it for
This is like who winning the national championship in basketball? This is like
Timberwolves,
Catawba winning the national championship in basketball.
No, this is literally a sinking garbage barge, and he threw us a life jacket and pulled us to shore. Is what he did.
Again, the management's not here. So
we're going down in the middle of the Missouri, and
we got
what do you mean management's not here? I just talked to the PD.
Oh, he's here.
He's back.
Oh my God!
Those following statements do not reflect the opinion of
there were
Chris
donuts
Reavers.
today, so he came back.
It's all a bit.
It's all a bit.
I'm super drunk on donuts.
Confused,
I'm all sugared
He's
up.
having a sugar high. You got an excuse. I don't.
So let's just be straight. He won an award for the Chamonix ad, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Congratulations, Tony.
He did the Chamonix voices.
I think so. I think he was confused on how to spell it.
All right.
It
What's
actually
up,
is
Johnny?
pretty cool.
Despite all the excitement, nice try, Kenny. Despite all the excitement in last night's Cavaliers-Warriors game, the ratings were down slightly from Game 1 last year, and in fact, this is the lowest Game 1 since these two have been meeting the last 4 years.
Well, it wasn't that much difference, though, was it? Between
No, it
last
was
year?
very little, actually, difference. 2015 was a 12-9, 2016 a 13-1. Last year a 12-4, and this year, last night, a 12-3. So just 1/10.
Well, it'll be good for Game 2 because there was a lot of conversation after that game last night.
Yes.
The J.R. Smith tweets after the game were just spectacular.
Yeah.
The squinting eye J.R. Smith tweets were great.
News notes from today, ending weeks of uncertainty. President Trump announcing today his historic summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un is back on.
For June 12th or later?
June 12th in Singapore.
Really?
Yep. Made the announcement just a week after he canceled the summit after an hour-long meeting today with a top North Korean official who delivered a letter from the North Korean leader.
And what Kim Jong-un has been worried about is that he will be, captured and, detained, and he won't be able to go back. So I think, being a prankster, it would be funny to kind of storm the room and go, and now it's time for you to go. Just make him, do number 2 in his trial.
The Trumpster canceled it originally because he had a golf match, and then it got canceled.
And he wanted to raise more gas prices, right? That was another reason Trump wanted to.
Right. Thanks a lot, Trump, for those big high gas prices.
The Minnesota man who held police off for 2 days in a Minneapolis hotel faces some new felony charges.
Wasn't this over a cat?
He did, the cat was part of the thing. I don't remember the entire story.
He's going to go to prison now.
Hennepin County prosecutors say 46-year-old...
That must be some...
Nope.
Oh, I'm cutting you off right now. Thank you.
Drunk on donuts ain't getting you out of that, son.
Here.
Prosecutors say 46-year-old Lincoln Bowman of Woodbury is charged with obstructing legal process and property damage. Charges came this week after prosecutors dropped previous kidnapping charges due to the lack of evidence. Police say they went to the Graduate Hotel near the U in January after a relative told them Bowman was threatening to harm others and himself. Bowman allegedly said he'd heard officers who came into the room would set fire to the hotel. SWAT team later ended the standoff, although it took 38 hours.
Is that what we call this place right down here now that's changed names 14 times? Is that the Graduate Hotel now, or is there another one over
the one that's on campus right next to the
there?
Applebee's.
Yeah, it's had 6, 7 different names here.
Do they have the Mrs. Robinson restaurant on the ground floor?
I don't know.
You know that Applebee's down on University looks exactly like the one in Coon Rapids? I mean, the bar it's like you're walking into it's mirrored.
Isn't that so?
That's crazy.
YouTube is dominating social media use among teenagers as Facebook fades from popularity, according to a new survey. The Pew Research...
YouTube doesn't give out all your secret information, right?
No. The Pew Research...
Only if you've done good deeds.
Yeah, the Good Deeds channel. The Pew Research Center survey showed that...
What a square.
That 85.
I told him, I said, I'm sorry to interrupt, John.
Yeah.
I'm doing it anyway. I told him, I said, it wouldn't work because you'd have 7, and then people would get bored. No, there'd be a lot of people posting their good deeds up there. Like, no.
24-hour
Right.
Sheriff Taylor and Barney Fife and Joe Souchere sitting around in front of the barber shop.
That kid walked an old lady across the street.
That goes on the good deeds.
I don't know. He's traumatized this week. He's missed the light 2-3 times.
Yeah, something happened.
We had that breaking news item,
Yes,
I believe, in
right.
John's
Yes.
update yesterday.
Yeah. The Pew Research Center survey showed that 85% of U.S. teens ages 13 to 17 use YouTube, compared with 72% for Instagram, 69% for Snapchat. Use of the main Facebook service is only at 51% among teens. That's down 20% from the last survey.
Wow.
Pew wouldn't speculate on the reason, but it's, teens often shun services once they become mainstream and used by their parents. Pew also says 95% of teens now have a smartphone or access to one, up from 73% during a prior survey.
If
I got the 9-year-old granddaughter. What do you think? Next time around, cell phone or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, it's
Right
about
now.
time.
10.
But
About 10.
don't start
No.
with the latest. You get a.
Can you get one that she can only put like 4 phone numbers in it or something?
They
like
do have
that?
those. They call them baby phones, but once she finds out that she has a baby phone, she won't want it anymore. She'll
okay.
want to graduate.
And 4 more deaths have been linked to that national food poisoning outbreak blamed on tainted Arizona-grown romaine lettuce. That brings the total to 5, and 2 of those deaths were here in Minnesota, according to the CDC. Arizona growing season is long over. It's unlikely there's any tainted lettuce still in stores or people's homes. In an update today, health officials...
Unlikely, huh, John?
It's unlikely.
Just unlikely.
If you want to take
Can
a
we
chance.
go a little higher than unlikely?
Take a chance.
Can we go damn certain or something?
In an update today, health officials said 25 more cases raised the total to 197 illnesses in 35 states, 89 hospitalized, 1 death in California. Today, health officials said they've learned of 4 more, 2 here in Minnesota and 1 in Arkansas and New York.
Did you see what we had for for lunch down there today?
No.
My
Yes.
guy,
Yep.
he had cauliflower rice.
Gross.
They think they can hide cauliflower by turning it into little kernels.
No, you can't.
You
Right.
can. It's still cauliflower, and the bride has been going into the cauliflower
Sure, that's a
rice
big
deal.
thing now, yeah.
And it's still cauliflower. You can't change it.
I like
A
cauliflower.
leopard can't change
up,
its
John.
spots.
I like
It's
cauliflower.
cauliflower. It's terrible.
But if you like tots, get the broccoli tots.
No.
Those are really
no,
good.
stop
With
talking.
cheese.
No broccoli tots. Say, fellas, I see by the clock it's time for break.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to my desk. I'm going to get out my bug-out box, load it up with my items, and I may or may not be back. I kind of have my doubts.
We're rooting for you.
Johnny Heidt, what's up?
A runner was left with a huge gash after a 2,000-pound bison charged and dug its horn into his rear end while he was out jogging.
Wow.
Where at?
Where was this, Johnny?
It was in Elk Island National Park in Alberta, Canada. 26-year-old Craig Nielsen was enjoying a weekend away with his wife when he decided to go for an early morning run before she woke up.
How big was the gash, you said?
2,000. No, I said 2,000-pound bison. I didn't say the gash was
I'm
big.
sorry.
I said huge.
Nice.
Got it.
The farm supervisor was making his way back to the campsite when he came across the plains bison grazing by a ditch.
Eh? He said "eh" when he got poked in the rear end. Eh?
Although Nielsen initially thought it was really cool to see a bison in real life, his first impression quickly turned when the animal began to charge at him. He ran toward a cluster of trees. He said he didn't think the bison would be able to fit through. But as he ran through the forest, he slipped in the mud.
Oh, geez, just like the nightmare.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
The bison caught him, dug its curved horn right into his left rear end cheek.
man.
His buttock.
Buttock. The impact
He
tossed
went
him.
back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
The impact tossed Nielsen forward, where he was able to seek refuge in the trees as blood gushed out of the 2-inch deep, 3-inch wide wound.
The gash?
He flagged down a car that had stopped to take pictures of the animal, was rushed to the local emergency room. 7 stitches. He says it's hard to sit down, but he should be fine in the end.
What a numbskull.
I remember being at Yellowstone Park when my old man went down to take a picture of the moose. Came running back up the hill with that damn moose hauling ass after him. Jumped in and took off.
That's right out of a Patrick McManus story. That's funny.
This moose was crashing through the woods.
I can see the bubble, the cartoon bubble of all the naughty words he's shouting at the top of
stars, hashtags, question marks.
Did Richard have the latest in technology, or did he have one of those big cameras too?
It was 58 or so whatever was the camera back then.
One of those land camera deals.
I don't know.
Set it up.
It's a camera that you had to bring the film to Snyder's for and wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, that would have screwed up the whole trip out west if he'd gotten trampled by the moose. We would have had to cancel her.
Think of all the stories we would have missed.
Security footage in China shows a woman being stopped by police after being spotted driving on the highway in a slow-moving pink bumper car. It was in Guangyang, Huzhou province.
I have questions.
I did too. You want to know how it's moving?
Yes.
I think it had pedals. I'm not going to swear to that, but it looked just like one of the bumper cars you'd ride at the fair.
Yeah. Pedals as in a bicycle?
Like you've seen the cars with the pedals, the toy cars.
Okay.
You're not that young.
And she was on what kind of a road?
It was a normal big highway. The footage shows all the cars passing her on the busy roadway. The woman was stopped by police, given a warning. Police said
warning?
She didn't have her shine on?
Police said they confiscated.
She was sober?
She actually operates a bumper car business in the city. They said they just gave her a warning ticket and took away that particular
We had
car.
a guy on 212 driving a Toro a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
Over in Chaska, yeah. Wow, he's going to end up...
Did he have
Kenny, you get the bicyclist on the freeway here every once in a while.
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah, they get out
this
there.
This is my road, damn it.
Share the freeway.
I pay my taxes. No, you don't. I just paid $480 for my driver's. Bring back Jesse.
Yeah, it's $35
for your
tabs.
Oh my God!
I just paid $483 for my tabs.
Yeah. Wow. You got to quit buying newer cars.
Exactly.
No, it's a newer car.
Rook hasn't spent that much on tires in a decade.
Right, yeah, right. Not even close.
Yeah.
Tough story from Oregon State.
Thank God I don't have some free spending Republican as governor. I'd really be in trouble.
Oregon State.
I'm not answering the phone, people, so don't call.
He's trolling you, folks.
Right.
Don't respond.
Oregon State
Lenny will come in. He'll really put the screws.
Again, he's trolling you, folks. Don't respond.
I'm going to turn this thing around.
Oregon State economists Mark McMullen and Josh Lehner say that employers are telling them they can't fill vacancies because every qualified candidate fails their drug test.
Well, soften up the drug test.
Get rid of it.
What are they testing positive for?
Marijuana.
Well,
or Oregon has legal recreational weed.
Don't include marijuana. It's very simple.
They have
So change the test instead of...
What is the job again, John?
all jobs. These guys are state economists. They say all employers are telling them they can't fill vacancies because everybody keeps failing drug
they're
tests.
just a bunch of do-gooders. They'd be on the
YouTube
they're
channel.
Watching the Good Deeds
right.
channel. They don't want people to smoke dope. Who cares?
They write, given the tight labor market, legal recreational marijuana up and down the left coast.
They might find their employees a hell of a lot happier.
Age 12, legal.
They say it's hard to fill those spots.
Start putting that stuff in the candy machines down at the lunchroom.
You'll make those. Help the candy companies out.
You'll have the happiest employees around.
A plane full of vacationers was forced to make an emergency landing after passengers began to vomit and faint because of the stench of one man's body odor.
Kenny in a kilt.
That nice post-hunting waft.
I've been contemplating a kilt this week. Reaver says to me 2 words: the stink.
Right. You know what? I think that'd be good to sell at the fair. A little mannequin Kenny in a kilt.
Kenny in a kilt. Right on.
Complete with flop sweat.
Yeah.
I'm thinking topless, too.
Even though Kenny doesn't show up at the fair, we ought to have a Kenny T-shirt.
No, let's not spend any money money on that. My God, no.
The flight was heading to the Spanish island of Gran Canaria when it had
Kenny T-shirt, one giant middle finger.
Had to make an unexpected detour as passengers became overwhelmed by the unbearable smell of what they called an unwashed man.
Oh, my God.
Belgian passenger Piet van Hout, who was on board the flight, said the smell was unbearable. It was like he hadn't washed himself for several weeks.
Yeah.
Staff on board the Transavia plane had reportedly tried to quarantine the passenger.
Except for that one guy sitting right next to him going, what? What? What?
The plane landed in the Portuguese city of Fargo.
Oh, really?
To allow the smelly man to be removed from the aircraft. A picture taken by a passenger shows medical personnel talking to the man. Transavia confirmed the emergency landing was due to medical reasons, but the reasons why the man smelled so bad are unknown, along with whatever the medical issues.
Soap and water is the reason.
All right. Well, thanks, Johnny.
Yeah.
To be your best every day, you need proven quality sleep every night. Science proves your best sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. And that's where the Sleep Number bed comes in. And let me tell you, ever since I've had it, my sleep IQ score is just going higher and higher. And did you know 8 out of 10 couples say that one of them sleeps too hot or too cold? Science tells us regulating your sleep temperature leads to higher quality sleep. For many couples, temperature struggles are a real challenge. So here are some tips to help you both sleep just right. Look for beds designed with temperature benefits such as the new Sleep Number Climate 360 smart bed that actively warms and cools each side so you both sleep blissfully comfortable. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition smart bed. Plus, special financing for a limited time. Only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com/podcast1. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the National Football League. Subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details.